My name's Davida Shensky, and you're listening to Live Without Limits, Reach Personal Success on a Daily Basis. We talk about relationships, mental health, psychology, and anything that pertains to mindset. Now, I don't often talk about entrepreneurship, but since the pandemic, we've become full circle from where we were at the beginning of the 20th century. And having and being successful in a business determines from your mindset. If you have an entrepreneur's mindset, it's easy to succeed. And if you don't, then you're going to struggle in building a business. Therefore, this is a topic that we want to talk about to help you understand it better. And today's presentation is titled Entrepreneurship Isn't for Everyone, but Here's How You Can Succeed. Before the rise of corporations in the Industrial Revolution, most people worked for themselves. Now we're circling back as millions of workers have had a taste of freedom. What's causing the renewed interest in entrepreneurial ventures? For many, the turning point came during the height of the pandemic lockdowns. People experienced autonomy as they worked from home, spent more time with their loved ones, and could arrange their schedules according to their needs. Unwilling to let go of the newfound freedom, many are handling in their resignation letters and setting out to start their own businesses. Perhaps you're one of them, and one of the many looking to follow your dreams. Remember that the road from I quit to successful entrepreneurial ventures is anything but straight, predictable, or easy, but it is certainly achievable, especially if you engage with proven business models that provide networks, resources, and support. The entrepreneurial scale. Before we get into what a proven business model is and why it matters, it's important to understand that the scale of entrepreneurship, on the very left side, you have the self-employed 1099 contractor. On the other side, you have someone who creates something out of nothing, a trailblazing visionary who takes 100% of the risk. The proven business model concept can work well for those in the middle of that continuum. They are directing their daily lives on their own with no one telling them what to do, but they also don't need to all the experimentation and risk-taking that comes with creating something from scratch. Make no mistake, following a proven business model doesn't restrict your autonomy. You'll still have mastery over your time, but you'll need to follow the system that you're given consistently to set yourself up for success without leaving or rather having to reinvent the wheel. If you're looking for more freedom than the corporate world could give you, the first place to look is inward. Take a step back, confirm that you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur, and figure out what kind you are. If you're the type who might benefit from some established structure, the next step is to discover the business model that's right for you so you can start here. honestly assess whether you have the makings of an entrepreneur. You know, you're an entrepreneur if you don't need to be told what to do. You don't ask for permission. You ask for forgiveness later. You act now and you just go with your idea. You're a risk taker, but you take responsibility and blame that no one for you about your favors. Excuse me. Let's say this again so that we get it right, because I'm not saying it the way I want to. You're a risk taker, but you take responsibility and the blame that no one else will do for your failures or your setbacks. You can think outside the box and see problems and solutions where others don't. And most essentially, you have a passion and a drive to perform on your own and for yourself. Once you confirm that you're an entrepreneur, assess where you fall on the continuum. If you're someone in the middle between self employed contractor and from the ground up entrepreneur, you can find success with a proven business model, but the sure to be careful and assess where you fall. If you're a visionary with big creative ideas, for example, you might be too far to the right to find fulfillment following an existing model. Identify the purpose that will fuel your fire in your belly. Work without purpose becomes dull very quickly. That's why so many workers with entrepreneurial leanings become disengaged. Accordingly, you want the same and name and claim for your purpose. For instance, I have had a lifelong passion for helping entrepreneurs. This led me to find a proven system that allowed me to become a business coach. To make your list, record everything that you're passionate about. Maybe it's working with kids or college students. Whatever it is, write it down, then flesh it out so that your purpose is a little more clear. Let's say that you like working with school children. Do you want to teach them? Do you like the activity so much that you want to do it on a day to day basis? Once you confirm what will give you the motivation to keep going, you can start looking for a corresponding business that features a proven income model. Entrepreneurship is about turning what excites you in life into capital so that you can do more of it and move forward with it, said Richard Branson. Search through existing business models that line up with your purpose. Plenty of entrepreneurial ventures are out there. Some high levels of investment, others require relatively low financial outlays. Make sure that you have a budget in mind and then seek out business models in your range. For instance, going back to the idea of tutoring young people, you might consider owning a local Kunin Learning Center. Those usually fall into the low to middle investment end. Maybe your budget is higher and your passion is serving food to families, opening a well-known chain restaurant would be the right choice. You'll likely need access to a substantial upfront capital, but many chains have known working models that tend to be lucrative when followed closely. As a caveat, be cautious when hunting for entrepreneurial ventures. If part of the model's revenue system is based on somebody else making money from you joining, that should raise a red flag. It matters who brings you into the model. If it's an individual who is personally incentivized financially beyond maybe a nominal referral fee to get you into the model because they get a significant portion of your revenue, then be wary. You should only be dealing with models that business operations group and not individuals looking to fill their downline. And what we're talking about here is those people who get involved with these multi-level marketing companies that think that everyone is a prospect when they aren't, because you can only find those people who really have an interest in the product you're selling to recruit. Decide who you want to operate the business. You need to honestly interrogate yourself and confirm what type of entrepreneur you are and want to be. Then go through the process of filtering the many opportunities. For example, do you want to be in charge or do you want to hire others to operate your business? If you want to be an absentee owner, look for something hands free like WaveMax, a coin operated full service laundry franchise. You just need to write the check, hire the general manager, and do nothing else. After that, it's recurring passive income, and you can then scale it from there based on your investment return. Gauge the business model's support system. You're narrowed down your business model options to one of two possibilities. Now it's time to evaluate your top contenders on the support that they give. A proven business model should give you leads, a sales and marketing process, a business development framework, and more. This enables you to skip a lot of the back end startup responsibilities and start earning faster. Be diligent about checking references as well. Talk to other users of the business model. Do they feel like the model works and allows them to realize their purpose? Are they profitable or on a path to becoming profitable? The more hard and anecdotal data that you have at your fingertips, the easier it will be to pinpoint the right model for you. The road to entrepreneurship isn't a straightforward, exacting one. Many entrepreneurs never get the lift off. However, aligning yourself with the business model that has proven itself time and again can afford that you and your on the runway that you need to soar. And remember this, that as an entrepreneur, you need to know if you can succeed. And if you also need a business plan, and you need to understand the entrepreneur's journey. And I have a course on how to write a business plan. And I also have a program on an entrepreneur's journey, but I'm also considering making it a challenge to help someone learn how to become an entrepreneur in today's workplace. Because remember, we have come full circle from where we were 100 years ago. And I have told a story several years ago. And when I told it to someone, he said, "You just described every generation in my family." And that story is, if you remember when the Europeans first came here at the early part of the 20th century, they brought their skills with them. Many of them, what they did was they either went to work for a company for free if the boss couldn't pay them because they wanted to work, or they would open up push carts on street corners to sell items. And today we've come full circle. But the story that I tell is that my mother often talked about Uncle Barney. And Uncle Barney, when they first came from Eastern Europe, what he did was he worked as a janitor in the building he lived in, but he also went to work for the steel mill and was willing to work for free until the owner was able to pay him a salary. And then he was rewarded by the owner that when he passed away, it was in his will that his sons could not fire Uncle Barney. They had to let him work until he was ready to retire. And he worked until he was in his 70s, and he lived to be 99. And the first generation that was born in this country went to fight in World War II because they wanted to give back to their country what they gained from it when they first came here and the opportunities they had. And that was also the beginning of the growth of the corporations. And what you saw then was that employees worked their way up into management, worked 25 to 30 years, and then upon their retirement got their gold watch as their reward for their time of service. Then with the baby boomer generation, you started seeing corporations merge and layoffs, and that was the beginning of the dot-com era. That was also the beginning of people going back to self-employment. And today, there are no guaranteed jobs in the corporate world, and many who start out in the corporate world take those skills and go back and start their own business. And this is what we're seeing. And then the pandemic just accelerated a lot of the trends that were already happening.